Hey guys, real quick. Is Drake illiterate? Because not only is he like the worst live streamer of all time now, but it seems like I don't know, man. The more time has gone on post beef, because the beef is over. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of other people see it as well. But post beef, I'm realizing this dude is like really dumb, dude. Like it's almost painful, you know what I mean, to watch if it's not, the most hilarious thing of all time. Um I wanted to do this video and say, "Oh, I didn't watch the Iceman 2 episode, right?" But I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, well, you didn't even see it. So, what do you know?" And so I skimmed through it, and like I'm baffled, bro. Just because well, let's talk about the song, dude. Like, what a psycho with the British accent, bro. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? And then Central C. The thing about Central C is he did like a fake relationship with Ice, the scat queen herself, the fetal alcohol syndrome queen, right? Um, he did like a fake relationship with her, which is like, to me, is like strange at the very least. You know what I mean? I'm sure we can find a nice list of adjectives, but that shit is strange. Um, to me, it's not very hip hop. You know what I mean? To be in these weird PR relationships, that shit is weird. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm also kind of realizing that Drake is like very dumb. Like he's like a um I'm trying to think of like a character from a movie, like Zach Galifianakis in Hangover levels of like dumb. And man, the thing about the Pinocchio thing that's funny to me is that if you put Pinocchio in your video and you're not him, you're not like pretending the character is you, you know what I mean? Then you're the other side of things, which is like a I don't even know if I can say the word on YouTube, but it's like a it's like a child moving around ring. You know what I'm saying? Because in the movie, in the Disney movie, right? The whole purpose of it isn't real boy. That shit is fake. You know what I mean? That shit is obviously fake. But the thing that it's about is about being an adult and growing up into a good adult, having your priorities in order, and ultimately taking over for your dad, right? You save your dad from the whale, you know what I mean? And right? And I'll be honest, Drake's dad is very deep in the whale, you know what I mean? And Drake's not exactly saving him, right? So if you're not Pinocchio in the thing, then you're obviously the opposition in that movie, which kind of struck me because there's a scene where Pinocchio's on his way to school, right? And he gets stopped by these two characters, a fox and a cat. The cat doesn't talk, but the fox, he says a lot of weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like he's singing the actor's life for me. You know what I mean? He's pushing on Pinocchio the idea of fame, the idea of becoming famous, becoming a star. You know what I mean? To entice him, to throw him into this ring where he will be sold and sent to Pleasure Island, right? And the interesting thing about it is just that with everything going on, you'd think this guy would have like a little bit of sense, you know what I mean, and be like, "Oh, I don't even want to be compared to the people in this movie who are abusing children." You know what I mean? Who are turning children into jackasses. And if there's anything that Drake's music has done, it's just that. You know what I mean? Provide like a very vapid surface level soundtrack for people's lives to for them to I'm sure some people who listen to Drake all the time, go on to do great things. um Even though, the whatever, dude. If I'm not saying if you listen to Drake, you're a failure, you're a bad person, you messed your life up, because that's not the case, right? But it is one of those things where it's like it's a trap, you know what I mean? And back to that scene, where this fox is convincing Pinocchio to be famous and to all this. Um, Looking back in a lot of ways, what's that song, that first song on the Drake album that people keep breaking down, where um they're like talking to each other about being famous and shit like that, and Kendrick is the one who has the hang up about it. Kendrick is the one who has second thoughts about it, and Drake is the one kind of pushing that onto him, right? It's just weird to be so illiterate and dumb to use this, and tone deaf, insanely tone deaf, to be using this kind of imagery to portray yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if you're making visual media and you include a character who is like Pinocchio, who has a meaning like that, you know what I mean, where it's literally about the opposite of what Drake does and stands for and shows us. Um, if he shows himself to be the opposition of that character, then it's like, who does he actually think he is? You know what I mean? And the answer is actually pretty disturbing. You know what I mean? Um, but I'm also kind of chalking it up to dude just being an idiot. You know what I mean? Who doesn't, ironically, doesn't understand metaphors and doesn't understand just very basic literature. You know what I mean? Um, Overall, like I said, I skimmed through episode 2, and it's crap, dude. It's junk. You know, he's got the chick dancing in the empty pool. I guess that kind of looks cool, bro. But yeah, this seems like someone trying way too hard to be artsy, bro. This is clearly someone who has um a major disconnect of self, bro. Like the interesting thing, bro, and I'll give you all the blueprint, bro, because the fact is, a big reason people liked Drake was his vulnerability, right? And I'm kind of starting to think that the vulnerability bit was fake and probably just a bit. But you know, after the beef, which he lost hard, um, it's one of those things where it's like, all you have to do is be vulnerable and is be real. You got to be a real boy. You know what I mean? You're the boy. You got to be a real boy and be real about what happened. I feel like if Drake took some time off, um, and even if like he started dropping music now, like in real time, the time off ended now. Like, say he never dropped the special songs for you, right? And he started dropping these Iceman episodes. The thing is, if he was real about what happened, and if he could articulate the emotions he went through as his entire world collapsed, you know, I think people would have a little more respect for him. But the fact that like everyone saw you um, get mollywopped in the hallway, and the next day you're walking around talking shit and acting like tough, you know what I mean? People don't respect that, bro. People don't like even if they can't articulate that that's what it is. People feel it, people see it, and it's fake as fuck, dude. And yeah, man, why would you put Pinocchio in your visual media? Completely miss the mark on what the metaphor and the whole meaning of that story is, and position yourself as the opposition running from Pinocchio. That means Pinocchio broke up the island, broke up Pleasure Island where children are being held captive and turned into donkeys. And now you're running from him. You know what I mean? He's on the loose. He escaped your island. He escaped your Jeffrey Island, and now he's chasing you through the United Kingdom. That's your video? That's your live stream, bro? Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Drake is illiterate, and I think he's a dumbass. You know what I mean? I think he's a literal dumbass. And, Zach Galifianakis in Hangover is not a good parallel to Drake. I wish I could figure it out, like, off the top of my head, but I can't. But I think dude is a dumbass. I think dude he might have, like, the lowest IQ in music history. You know what I mean? Because, oh, man. It must be hard to be real with yourself when you've been so fake for so fucking long, dude. You know what I mean? You look at child actors and how child actors ended up and how they behave as adults, and these are embarrassing people for the most part. These are embarrassing people because, mostly not to their fault. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these kids were abused in a lot of ways. Um, I don't think Drake was. I don't think Drake was. I just feel like he's one of those. He's like, dude. You know what he's like? He's like Michael Scott from The Office, bro. He's like Michael Scott from The Office to me, and it's like, honestly, dude, a Drake comeback. In my head, this is what it looks like. You shut up. You start dropping these bogus live streams. Yeah. Also, have you ever seen a live stream, bro? Like, this is not it. You basically premiered a YouTube video in the form of a live stream. Why? Why? Some Michael Scott shit. You know what I mean? And yikes. In my head, this is the comeback. You stay quiet up until these Iceman streams, and then you be honest and vulnerable about the feelings you're going through as someone who was at the top. Because here's the thing, Drake could always make those songs about, oh, I'm at the top and it's lonely, da 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 da, all this homo shit. You know what I mean? And now, like, your songs are like coming true because you were at the top, and I'm sure you were lonely, and now all those fake friends done backstabbed you, and you're on your way down. And it would be nice to hear someone honestly speak from that perspective and honestly learn something from that experience and tell us what they learned. But I think this guy is just too dumb to learn anything, bro. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, I feel bad for the fans of his. You know what I mean? I feel bad for those, but at the same time, I kind, what are you gonna do? Fuck them, and fuck anyone who's like, oh, this is so deep. This is so deep. No, dude, you're the opposition of Pinocchio, which the opposition of Pinocchio sends kids to an island, right? And I assume Pinocchio escaped this island, and now he's getting revenge for you victimizing children. That's the metaphor you're running with. That's some weird Hollywood Balenciaga bullshit right there. And Central C saying I'll turn the hotel to a 20v1. I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe stay out of it. You know what I mean? Maybe stay out of it with your fucking PR girlfriend. I got a girlfriend in another country. Maybe stay out of it, right? It's just my thoughts on that. I didn't watch the whole thing. The few snippets I saw here and there were, wannabe artsy, Drake trying to imagine what a working man goes through. I don't know, man. It's rough, dude. It's rough, and Drake doesn't have it in him to actually come back. Sure, he might drop music that people who don't know anything about hip hop will make go number one day. I'm sure that'll happen. But people don't forget, dude. People don't forget.